Okay, good day to you, Donna. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on my podcast to share a little bit about your story and how um actually to dive deeper into how you would resonate. And perhaps this is gonna be more, it's gonna be a little bit about therapy for me as well, because I have been following a little bit of your podcast, and I think it's really
Mhm.
wonderful what you do for people. And that's why I'm excited to talk to you. So, yes, Donna. Okay, I just want to ask you, like, when you first saw my podcast, what was your first impression of it? My podcast title.
I was intrigued to learn more about it. I think that's one of the things that I liked about it the best is the curiosity to discover who you were, what it was about, and to learn more.
Yeah, yeah. I think we also had a talk prior to this call, and it's really nice to actually find people wherever they are to be able to resonate. And yeah, I think that's one of the reason why I have this guest coming onto my podcast. So yeah, so Donna, what could you share with us like how about yourself? Like what was your childhood like? Yeah.
Sure. I grew up in a blended family and learning to be able to remake your family. And usually, when that happens, that in my situation, there was a divorce. And so there's a lot of emotional stuff that happens for most children, including myself, during that kind of transition. Um, and so that was somewhat challenging, but it was normal. You understand, when things are normal and they're still difficult.
Yes.
And then later on in my life, when I was 15, I became a mother. It wasn't a consensual situation. And so
15. Okay.
yes. And so all of the things that I thought was going to happen in high school, of course, was not happening. And learning how to figure out how to finish high school. How am I going to take care of her? I had a little girl, and raise her, and all of those insecurities that were going on in our lives when that kind of thing is going on. So learning how to rise above all of that has been something I learned to do, going from that scared, insecure little girl to now a woman who is helping women around the world, or people, not just women, to live vibrantly is part of everything that I'm doing.
So I don't know if we're ready to dive a little bit deeper about what you just mentioned,
Mhm.
because I'm actually really curious. Like, there would be people listening to this podcast who might have, who's experiencing the same thing, like
Mhm.
teen pregnancy, right? That's considered a teen pregnancy. So
Yes.
how so what actually happened, and uh, how did you? What was your reaction? Like, how did you talk to your parents? Like, what was the impression? Like, I've got so many questions.
I can I can hear your mind racing.
Yes.
Um, uh, it felt like to tell my parents that I was pregnant. Well, the way I recall it is it was in July, and so I had just turned 15. My birthday's in June. I had just turned 15, and I'm standing in the bathroom with tears coming down my face. I lived in Texas, and so it was hot as it is in Texas. And if you've ever experienced that, it's hot in the summer.
Okay.
Anyway, I know you live in a different country.
Yeah, but we have a hot and rainy
Yes.
season all year
Yeah.
round. So
Yeah. So anyway, I'm standing in the mirror, this little 15-year-old girl with tears going down my face, and I'm going, one, two, three, it can't be four. And it had been 4 months since I had had my period.
oh,
And I am sitting there going, I can't be pregnant. I can't be. But I was. And so having to then figure out how am I going to tell, because they weren't aware of what had occurred.
okay.
And so trying to figure out how to tell them in that time frame in society or in my sphere, it didn't matter why we were pregnant. A teenage pregnancy wasn't okay. So there was shame. They hid
Yeah.
me. There was
Oh,
judgment. All of those unspoken and sometimes spoken things. So to say that those next years were hard um, doesn't even come close. I finished high school when I was 16 before I was 17, and I was full-time employed and in my own place by the time I was 18. So I'm 18 with a 3-year-old.
oh, and all of this, your parents were there for you.
They gave me a place to live. And there wasn't a lot of emotional support. I think they were processing, as I look back, they're processing their own emotions. So sometimes it's hard, but there wasn't a lot of emotional support. But yes, I did have a place to live.
So, is it okay to say that they did not disown you, but they did not fully acknowledge what had happened?
Correct.
Okay, that's I I would say, though I'm not sure about the statistics in Malaysia, but I'm pretty sure we have that happening here. I see news ever so often. It's a what you call it, an accident, right? And they, because
Yes.
they're too young.
Unfortunately, it's too common.
Yeah, yeah, they're too young, and they are they either give it away, or they just take the life of that thing, and it's really heart-wrenching. So, okay, if let's say you have there's somebody who's actually experiencing this right now, what would you tell her?
Um, to get support and get help wherever you can. I have a program that I have developed, one of my signature programs called Turn Your Baggage into Luggage. Um, and helping people to turn those painful moments in our life and turn it around into something good. And so, one of the keys is to look at your life and realize if your life was a book, this isn't your whole chapter. It feels like it's the end of the world and this will be so hard, but it doesn't have to be. And so begin to look down the road and realize, look at my life, that there's hope. It doesn't have to be um, a an end all horrible thing that's never going to recover. So what I say is turn the page. Begin to turn the page. Learn how to turn the page in your book so that you can have something different and better. And getting support and getting help is one of the important parts of it because if we don't do that, then we keep trying to figure it out on our own, usually from the same place, the same thoughts, the same situation that helped create the situation, and we don't learn how to recover fully. So, learning how to do that. And another key to being able to move forward is learning how to forgive yourself and others is a key to living vibrantly. And when you combine all of those parts, and the fourth, there's four steps in no specific order, but the fourth is beginning to look for the gift on how you became stronger, how you learned. What did you learn through all of this? I wouldn't be here where I am today without that experience. I wouldn't want to repeat it, but learning what we can learn through those difficult times gives me a different perspective. When you change your perspective, you change what you see and what you experience. So, those are briefly four areas where I would recommend someone that they are precious, that what happened to them doesn't have to define them unless we let it.
Okay. Um, yeah, those are very, very brilliant steps to getting out of it. But I just would like to dive deeper into the like when you're in that situation. So not everybody can just click and just say, okay, I'm gonna change the way I think right now, and 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 start to move through that direction that we know we need to go. There's still people who they want to get out of it, but they can't because of the looping thoughts, right? And like it or not, some can pull themselves out of it, some cannot, some can fall into depression and have all this mental health. And of course, you then start questioning your self-worth. I mean, this is the very core of my podcast. I, in your opinion, how do you define self-worth when when you're pressed in this kind of situation?
Well, first of all, I have to politely disagree because we can all choose what we continue to think about.
Yeah, true. That's right.
And so we can change the what we're thinking. It doesn't mean that it's instantly better. I never gave that impression that it's all of a sudden better. But if I get up
Mm,
one day at a time, one moment at a time, and I choose what I continue to think about, meditate on, ponder, go over and over. You talked about that loop in your mind. We can change it. We could all be in depression in 15 minutes or so if we all thought about all the stuff that was bad in our life or the world. We could be totally freaked out if we continue to focus on all of the things that we could be concerned about.
yeah,
On the opposite side of that coin, if I look at all the good in the world, all the amazing people, all of the things that people are resilient and strong and helping each other, both of those things are present at any
yeah,
moment.
yeah.
There's good and there's things that are not good. And I get to choose any moment what I'm going to focus on. So it is really not true that we don't have a choice, that you can't choose. And so I needed to highlight that before I answer the question about self worth, because one of my programs is choosing joy, that
Mm.
we do have a choice. That is one of the things that is one of my soapboxes I get kind of riled about, is that
Yeah, yeah,
people are
yeah,
told
same.
you're in depression, you're always going to be that way.
Yeah.
You're always going to be that way, and it's not true. You're always going to be anxious. You need medication. You may need it for a period of time. Medication saves our life, but it
Mm,
isn't the answer. It's a symptom. It isn't helping me to actually be better. It's covering things. So
mm,
learning that there is ways. I help people do it every day. That
mm,
you can learn how to choose joy and how to have a vibrant life irregardless of what's going on in your life. There are so many stories. If we go back to the concentration camps with the Jews, they chose joy. There's so many resilient stories in horrific conditions, and that's just one example. So you touched on that. So that was just one of my one of
Yeah.
my things is because and I wasn't giving the impression in those 4 steps that it's it's rewriting the way that I've been thinking. I have to do it intentionally. I have to do it
Mm.
every day on purpose. One of my books is The Key to Transform Your Life. Why are the words we speak and the thoughts we think so important? And it gives you 30 days of different affirmations or declarations you can begin. And I tell you, it will change your life. It will change your life quicker than any other thing that you can do. And it's not hard. It's just you have to do it intentionally. Now back to self-worth. There's a difference between self-worth and self-concept in my mind.
Okay.
Self-concept is nobody's born with low self-esteem. Nobody is
Yeah,
born with low self-concept.
that's
You
true.
take a 2-year-old and you put them in music at like on a dance floor or put music on and they don't care what they look like. They start
Yes,
wiggling to the
yes,
music. There is not they
exactly.
are
Just like
they're
they're
not
dancing, like
concerned
yeah,
at all. So we're not born with a low self-concept. A self-concept comes from the environment we grew up in, the
mm,
circumstances around us, and what we determined those situations meant about us. So
yes.
let's
The
say a divorce.
perception that we place on it.
Yes, it's what our brain tried to make sense out of it. So my
Yes,
self-concept, generally speaking, is what other people think about me, how well I perform, and most of the time for us ladies, how I look.
yeah.
Perhaps guys too. How I
Mm,
look, how well I performed in some task or event things, and what other people think. And if you think about if I'm building my self-worth on those things, isn't going to be pretty shaky.
oh yes, oh
Oh yeah.
yes.
And majority of the time that's the way we build our self-worth is people are fickle. One day
Validation of
something's
the external, yeah, from the
yes, one
external.
day something's in style, the next day it's not and you're out of style.
Yeah.
All of those kind of things, but that has nothing to do with my identity,
Mm,
who I truly am. It has nothing to do with that. My identity is who I am. You can be dressed really poor or
mm-hmm,
really wealthy, but that
mm-hmm,
doesn't change who the person is. And so learning to be able to discover who you really are, what you like. One of my favorite books is You Were Born an Original, Don't Die a Copy.
oh yes,
And we
yes.
keep trying to copy or imitate other people who appear to be popular, who appear to be liked. And we all want to be loved and belonged.
Mm,
But will you truly love me if I never let you know who I am?
no,
No.
yeah.
And so learning to be able to discover who I am and build, to me, self esteem or self worth is built on who created me and the value that was placed on me. It's who I am is valuable, not necessarily just what I do. That is an
Mm,
outflow of who I am, but it isn't the equal sign. What I do equals. Because, does that make sense?
of course. I it is something that you mentioned about speaking daily affirmation meditation. I truly believe in the power of I am. I am means whatever that comes after that. I am tired today. You're gonna be tired definitely.
Mhm.
I am. I'm feeling successful today. Oh yes, your day is gonna go tremendously well. And it's okay, so many people they look at this motivational movies or short clips, social media, but they like it. They know they need to follow it, but they tend to like fall back into that. So in that case, for you, as I can say you're also a speaker yourself. I
Hmm.
think a motivational coach as well. How would you approach these group of individuals? So,
Well, one of the things that you said really trips us up is our feelings,
mm,
is how we are feeling about
mm,
whatever is going on. So I have a question for you to think about and then answer.
okay.
Our feelings or our emotions always truth?
No,
So
it's
the
not
answer,
all.
it's
Yeah,
not always,
it's
but
not
we
always
treat
true.
it as if it is, don't we?
Yes, as it's like
Yes.
everything. Like
So you want me
yeah.
to tell you the definitions of your feelings and emotions?
Yes, please.
So what your feelings equal, if we were to do a mathematical equation,
Mm,
feelings do not equal truth. So that's we've already decided it doesn't equal truth.
mm,
But feelings equal what you are believing about yourself or the world at that moment.
yes, correct.
Feelings equal. So if I think inside I'm ugly and no one's
Yeah.
going to like me, then I'm going to walk into a room and experience that truth, that fact. It's
I
not
think
truth.
you I think you hit it. That was that was home run. Yes.
And so, yeah, so it isn't necessarily truth. It's just the way it's what I'm believing about me. Now, I could walk into the same room and go, ta da, on the inside. I'm here. All these people want to talk to me, and everybody loves me. I'm going to have a completely different experience by what I believe about me. Even if I don't talk to a lot of people, I'm still okay. And so learning that so if I feel tired, could I change the way I feel by saying it's going to be a fabulous day today? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. We could change our day by not necessarily stating how I feel is the obvious. Stating what I want is where we have to come in. So if I feel sad,
Mm,
I'm going to choose happy thoughts. What can I be thankful for today? And I begin to shift what I'm thinking about, and my emotions will then follow. We get led around by our
yeah.
emotions
Yes, yes.
instead of choosing to tell our emotions where they're going to go. Now, I am not talking about major trauma and all of those kind of things that pretending like they didn't occur. That's not what I'm saying. But I can recover quicker and begin to heal and bounce back by learning that my emotions are not truth. They're simply what I believe about me or the world around me.
So it's like objectifying, basically looking at it objectively. Like, is what I'm feeling is true? Because I'm everybody is entitled to what they feel, but like you said,
Absolutely. Yes.
yes, because you can say, like, for example, to a friend, oh, I don't feel good. I don't feel like I fit in this dress. And then you tell them, but you look fabulous. Why I don't feel that way?
Hmm.
So them, it's about them already creating that perception in their head and simply, oh, maybe what she's saying, I've never thought of it that way. I've always known that I am attractive, but it's just I just feed myself with those lies and those, I would
Well, if
say,
if
yeah.
if somebody rejects us,
Mm.
especially a boy
Oh, oh
or a
yes, yes,
marriage
yes,
and all of
yeah,
that kind of stuff,
yeah.
then I must not be worth anything. is what is
Mm.
a retaliation. So what 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 I want to help clarify a little bit about what you said.
Mm.
So let's pretend that occurred.
Yes.
Somebody divorces you, somebody breaks up with you, somebody betrays you,
Yeah.
all of those kind of things, and then we start to think, I'm probably not, man, if I was prettier, or if I was
Mm.
worth more, or if I had done this, or if I had done that. And our mind begins to go that way. And then our emotions get worse, right? We start to
Yes.
feel worthless. We start to feel
Yes.
depressed. And we
Yes.
start to go down that path.
W-
So, what I recommend when those kind of, I'm going to tell you one other example too, to help get the point across is is to stop and say, I'm feeling worthless.
Mhm.
Is that true? What am I
Mm.
believing? I'm believing that I'm worthless because Joe Smo didn't want me anymore. Is that true that I'm worthless because Joe cheated on me? No, it's
No.
not true.
Yeah.
All right. So if it's not true, what do I want to believe about Joe? And what do I want to believe about me? I want to believe about Joe. I don't know how blunt I can be, but anyway,
Yeah, you can. You
he
can be.
couldn't be faithful.
Yeah.
We'll just leave it at that.
Yes. Yes.
Joe couldn't be faithful. Joe
Yes.
didn't know how to keep the integrity of a relationship. So Joe
Mm.
is that's about Joe. But
Yes.
does that mean that I'm worthless because Joe couldn't do
Couldn't
that?
keep. Mm.
No. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I'm worthless, does it? So
Yes.
I'm not going to let Joe's infidelity mean
Mm.
that I am worthless. I am going to choose to believe the truth that that's not true. It was Joe's problem. I'm not going to make it mine.
Yes.
Okay, so let me use another example. I have been in situations where all of a sudden I seem to get really angry. Somebody does something and I'm like furious.
Okay.
And we can choose. People can, we feel like people can make us angry, or
They're out to get us. Yeah.
yes, all
Yes.
of that. They say
Yeah.
snide remarks,
Yes.
they say something cutting, they say
Yes.
something, all those kind of, we've all been there. All right.
Yes.
So what I do is then when I get away from the situation, I'm first of all, they can't make me mad. I
Unless I
choose to
choose
be
to
mad.
be mad.
Okay. So what was I believing about me that caused the anger and the defensiveness to arise?
Because a part of you think that that was true as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So a part of us felt like that snide remark was true. And so we get defensive, we get angry. So then I have to
Yes.
go, it's not about them. In fact, those people are sometimes blessings to
Mm.
hide and cover what I'm really believing about me. This is going pretty deep coaching session here. So learning to be able to decipher and have help, that's one of the things in my coaching session is helping people uncover what you're truly believing.
Donna, I think I hit something that's really, really deep. But yeah. Okay, let's see. Um, so what is your take on discovering about yourself?
Ask me the question a different way. I'm not sure what you mean.
Self-discovery is often described as a journey. What does this journey entail, and how does it contribute to personal growth and fulfillment? I mean, we know that, but in your opinion, what what is it exactly?
Well, self discovery is a journey. And when I was your age,
Mm.
I always want to know when the journey is going to be over. It's
Oh,
like, when am I going
yes.
to get?
Yes, 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 yes. Like you had all of your goals and then okay, but you hit them or some you may not and you said at this age, okay, it's okay that I don't hit them anymore. But what next? The what next and
And
the journey. Yeah.
yeah, and it always feels like when I was your age that somehow I'm not doing enough.
We're never enough. No, 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 no. That's not this. That's the
Oh,
exact
it's not
opposite of this
true, but it
concept.
is the way that we
Exactly.
feel.
Yes.
It
Yes.
is the way that we feel. It's not true. So, the first thing is noticing that every decade, I'm going to let you know ahead of time, every decade, there's going to be things you're going to be going through, and it's going to be different. And that you begin to embrace the different times in your life. As I remember being 30, I remember
Mm-hmm.
being, older than you as I am. And so embracing it instead of trying to figure out if you're missing a step. One of my favorite declarations is I'm right where I'm supposed to be and I'm not missing anything. Because there's
Yes.
always that feeling like I should be doing more. What if I'm not doing
Why is
enough
my yeah? Why
affirmations?
why is my friend? My friend is already there. Like he
Yeah.
or she
And
is like yeah.
and we, we already talked about comparison. Um,
Yes, yes, yes.
and you don't know what your other friend is doing when she's by herself. We do not know people's full story. We don't live in their shoes. And
Yeah.
so learning to let go of the idea that I need to be here. And one of the biggest, you want to know, one of the biggest secrets
Mm.
to understanding and discovering your gifts and your journey is to quit thinking about you so much.
Oh, losing yourself or
Mm.
others. Can we say that way?
I'd like to say it a different way, investing
Okay.
yourself in others and helping. How can you help? Because a lot of times when I am helping someone else, all of a sudden, I'm not so sad anymore.
You're
How can you make a difference? I think this podcast did this for you. It was one of the things that pulled you forward to be able to see how you could help other people with your story. And that
that's
is
right.
one way that I'm talking about is, but when I constantly think about me all the time, it doesn't mean I don't have moments of self-reflection, but if my whole life is looking inward, I'm gonna always find something that isn't where I think it should be. But if I'm focusing on others and how I can serve, how I can help, how I can make a difference, and be grateful for them in our lives, your journey will be much more enjoyable.
I already imagine this interview is gonna be a mini therapy for me as well. Ah, so Donna, what gets you up in the morning?
Mm. Oh, I get up easy. I love my life. Um,
Beautiful.
I love my life. So that's not a challenge. And that's what I want for everybody else is to be able to say, "Man, I love my life."
Yeah. So, you see, every time a guest says something that really hits the core, I'd just be taking some seconds out just to really think like, yes, because this was exactly what I was feeling. And right now, it's like I was driving on a highway 2 days ago because uh, I was from a hospital. My brother-in-law is not well. He's undergoing chemotherapy, and it's taking a toll on the family as well. So I, of course, am even though he's family. My sister, of course, takes most of it, but when my sister is sad, of course, I am also affected. So, but when I was driving, I saw a beautiful sunset, and I, and that was a song playing on my radio, and I just thought to myself, this is nice. I'm so glad to be alive today. despite everything that's happening. So, Donna, do you have a mantra that you live by?
Mm. Well, God is the center of everything that I do in my relationship with Him, not a religion. So that is part of my daily routine, if you will, is to spend time in prayer and reading and meditation around that. So that is the focus. I wouldn't be alive without it, with the things that I have um, been through in my life. So that is it. The other thing is I always look for the hope. There's always hope. And when we focus on being, what am I thankful for, and could I bring hope to or embrace it in my life, your life will begin to shift and you will live more vibrantly. I would like here is if there is someone listening that would like to have someone to talk to get more clarity on what is personally going on with your life, feel free to schedule a call with me. It's on my website, and we can just talk, just like I'm doing here with you, and discover more and ask more personal questions because I want to be bringing light and vibrancy to people all around the world that there is always hope.
So, okay. Um, I'm just saying a little prayer in my heart that thank you for, thank you, God, for letting me start this podcast, to be able to meet you. I mean, this is all His doing, you know. Yeah. Okay, I really want to touch a little bit about the topics that you put here. I think it was your book, Life by Design, Not by Default. Can you maybe share a little bit about that?
Life by Design, Not by Default is a coaching program as well as a free workshop that I have
Okay,
available. um,
okay.
and it is uh, one of the keys is eh, we feel like life's just happening to us.
Mm,
It's like we don't have any control. I'm just gearing up for a fight.
exactly. It's like
I'm,
it's a constant struggle. Okay, I've
yeah,
got things to pay. Oh, but then there's another thing to pay tomorrow. But then there's also one thing coming up, people asking, or just
yep,
something. The car breaks down.
yep,
Why is
all the
everything out
things.
to get me? Yes.
Yep. Why is everything out to get me? That's a great statement as well. It's for people who feel like that. It's for people who are feeling like I'm tired of there's got to be, I know inside there's something more. I know there's an answer. I just don't know where to look.
Yes.
And I don't know what it is. And so, in this workshop, which would be the first, schedule a call with me, would be step one. Two would be go to the workshop. It is available on demand no matter what your time zone. So, you
Mm,
sign up, you get it instantly on your screen as well as in your inbox, and you can watch it. It has an activation workbook. And in this workshop, I
mhm,
see, I share 6 secrets,
mhm,
6 superpower gifts that you possess and you're probably not aware. And when you learn them and how they work, you will have some of the secrets to the things you're questioning. Why is it like this? And begin to create a life you desire on purpose, by design, as I call it, instead of feeling like life is happening to you. I promise the secrets are there. So be sure to check out that workshop.
okay. I'll definitely be leaving that message when I post this on my social media to all the listeners. So how long is that workshop for, Donna?
It is about 35 minutes.
35 minutes. Okay. Okay. So when they sign up, they just need to follow the instructions and
Yep,
then it's pretty much automatic.
absolutely.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I have one more. I see this. So, maybe, yeah, because I always have a pivotal question. Have you ever in your life feel that you're worthless?
Absolutely.
And how did you overcome it? Can you tell us a little bit about your experience and how did you overcome that?
Well, I've already shared some of it. I mean, when I was 15, I definitely felt worthless. It isn't the only time in my life, but
Mm,
um, it is beginning to do exactly the things that I've shared today. What is truth? What am I believing? And going through that process. I walked you through it today. So exactly, that's exactly what I did. And sometimes, depends on the situation, it takes more time to get rid of the lies that we're believing than we want to. When is this going to be over?
yes, yes, yes.
But it is worth it to just quit asking that question because it already feels like I'm behind. Is just every day get up and proceed as if success is
It's
inevitable.
already, it's already yours.
It's already yours. You're just learning how to walk it out. And there is something about being persevering in it. It builds
Mm,
character, it builds strength. It's not always fun,
mm,
but it is worth it.
yeah. Okay. So if you have a quote, Donna, that you could leave to the world, to the audience listening, and as your legacy, because I will quote this, what would it be?
You are loved more than you know.
Mm, beautiful. Okay. All right. I think I've covered most of it. I really enjoy talking to you, Donna, and I think that um whoever that's going to be signing up to your for your course, I think they're gonna have and it's gonna be an eye-opening experience. I would love to join it myself, and I'll be contacting you through your email or to your website, right?
Absolutely, yes. My website is the letter I, vibrantliving.com.
Okay. I'll be sure to put that in the caption section. Okay, Donna, thank you so much for your time today. I am really, really appreciative of this. This is something that you'll never get back. Time is something, yeah, time is the most valuable thing to me. And for that, I really thank you. Thank you so much, Donna, and I'll be speaking to you soon.
My pleasure. Have a great rest of your day.
You too.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.